So, what are we doing here, hon?
Well, Jason has harvested the parsnips and we have this many. So we are going to make, I think, a soup. Um, there's two ways that you can prep your vegetables for a parsnip soup, and one is sauteing. I guess you could boil them, but that would really be awful. But maybe saute first. We're gonna try to roast. So I've gone through the refrigerator. There's a parsnip that from the store left over, and there's turnips left over. They're a little squishy. I have one piece of celery, and I guess I'm not gonna roast that. Maybe I'll just fry that separate. And I have a couple carrot bits left over, and we have some onion. So I looked up a bunch of different recipes for parsnip soup, and I found four that I really like, but I don't have all of the ingredients for any of them. So we're just gonna kind of make up this particular recipe. What I wish I had was some garam masala spice, because that would be delicious, but I do have some za'atar spice. I'm gonna try that along with some cumin, coriander, marjoram, and za'atar is actually made from, it's supposed to be a specific kind of marjoram, and then some thyme. So I'll throw that in there. I could have used the end bit of this sage and apple stuffing and left off these other spices. That would have been a thing. I could have also maybe thrown in a can of cream of mushroom soup, but I can't eat mushrooms. Jason would have really liked it, but it might have made me feel not so great. So we're just gonna try this. Parsnips, carrots, a couple turnips, and onions. I'm gonna roast them in the oven, and then we'll come back and put them through the blender and see what it tastes like. Here are the parsnips and onions, little olive oil and butter. And here are the carrots, onions, and I did roast the celery. So I've roasted all my vegetables. We've made a couple soups recently, and I've noticed that there are copious amounts of onion in them. So there's an onion and a half, a tray of parsnips with some onion, a carrot and a half. I put some turnip in here, why not? On the stove, there is 8 cups of chicken broth. You could use vegetable broth too. And I put in the cumin, the thyme, and the za'atar spice. I also found about 3/4 of a cup of pumpkin puree left over from the Christmas pumpkin pie. And I was gonna just make muffins or something, but I thought, well, we'll just put it in the soup, so that should add a little sweetness to it. So there's also pumpkin in there. What I'm gonna do now is put everything in the pot and just kind of let it cook a little bit, make sure everything is nice and soft and tender, and then we'll use the immersion blender. This is the soup after it's boiled for about 45 minutes. Just giving it a little stir, and you can see how little liquid is left. So that looks pretty good. And then we just use the hand immersion blender to get in there and mix it all around. This does take a little while, and I wish I had cut the celery pieces smaller. They left little strings in the soup when we were eating. Jason doesn't mind, he likes chunks. So our soup's all done. I've had a shower. We roasted them and then put them in the chicken broth to finish. So they roasted half an hour for the carrots and onions, 40 minutes for the parsnip and onions, and then I boiled them in the chicken broth probably for about another half an hour. We used the hand immersion blender to mix it up, and we're going to serve it. We didn't have any sour cream, so we're just going to use some plain yogurt on top. I might squeeze a little lemon on there. We have tried it. It's delicious. There was salt in the chicken broth, so probably not going to add any more salt, but maybe just some pepper. For a refrigerator made up soup, I'm quite pleased with it. Let me know what you guys do with your parsnips. I recommend roasting them before you add them to your soup. Thanks, everybody. Stay awesome.
That looks delicious.